There is a legend that after a dragon dies, its body becomes part of nature. The old dragon before them was so weak it could hardly move and was on the verge of death. Yet, it showed no signs of emotion, until a young girl appeared before it. She had been carried to the dragon's lair by another dragon.
Let her go now.
Uh-oh.
She didn't struggle but slowly let herself sink into the water. Fortunately, Elias woke her just in time. Annie fought her way to the surface, gasping for air. The old dragon noticed her then. Though blind, it recognized Annie as a mage. The dragon's body was covered in moss, and it had begun to turn to stone. At that moment, a man stepped forward. He welcomed Annie to the land of the dragons, but Annie didn't understand why he had brought her there. The man explained that he wanted to meet the disciple of the Thorn of Shadows. Elias then appeared from within Annie's shadow. He and John had known each other for a long time. John pointed out to Elias that his disciple was shivering from the cold. Seeing Annie trembling, Elias lovingly picked her up.
You are not fine. You're absolutely soaked. Nettle in the shadow. False holly in a ring.
I'm all dry.
John teased Elias, saying he was taking care of her like her father. Elias introduced John to Annie as the caretaker of the dragon's lair and a fellow mage. Though John appeared younger and more handsome, his age was actually greater than Elias's. They planned to discuss serious matters and suggested Annie play with the young dragons for a while. The young dragons were full of energy, which surprised Annie. After they wore themselves out, Annie approached the old dragon. She touched its weathered skin and gazed at its wings, imagining how it must have soared through the skies. The old dragon also noticed Annie but remained still. The young dragons told her that when an old dragon dies, it becomes a tree or flowers. Annie was puzzled. She couldn't understand why the young dragons spoke so calmly about death. The old dragon explained that they weren't like humans, who feared death, because they lived their lives fully without regrets. Annie stroked the dragon, and it told her that all beings, whether living with pain and joy, or facing death with solitude and sorrow, would eventually experience these equally. It had lived long enough. The old dragon reassured Annie not to be sad for it. However, Annie's tragic past had left her suffering. There had been many times when she had thought of dying to escape her pain. The old dragon apologized for reading her memories. Then, with his last strength, he showed Annie the view he had once seen. He carried her above the ocean, where the setting sun reflected off the shimmering water, casting a myriad of colors. It was at this moment that Annie witnessed the beauty of life. She and the old dragon nestled close together. John realized that this was the last dream the old dragon was sharing with Annie.